we can overcome very resiliently those fractured times of development. But if we don't, and then they continue to build on other life experiences that nurture and manifest all of those seeds, they're going to result in someone who does not know how to self-regulate, does not know how to have relationship unless they're creating peace. But they do wind up, I mean, the majority of them, nicest helping people.
Sure.
And you would never know that really there's this foundation of deep insecurity that just is going to do whatever it takes to make sure that everybody else is okay, because that's the only way they can be okay.
Wow. Welcome to our next question, a place of discovery and not the final answer. I'm Chris Ownit, the marriage and family therapist, and sitting next to me is Melanie Jones, part owner of Downey Park Counseling, and my wife.
Thanks for joining us. Let's get the conversation started.
Here we are. We're back. It's been a week or 2 weeks for you. It's been moments for us. We are back in the studio / office at Downey Park Counseling Associates, shameless plug, talking to Megan Kubicek, who is the codependent counselor. And you can prove that by going to the website, Codependent Counselor. And we brought her in the studio today to ask the question, am I codependent? And the reason I'm putting it like that is probably get better SEO. Anyway, but before we get to that, what's been going on with life? My icebreaker question is, I was thinking about this the other day. What am I doing now this time of year? Because it is the time for commitments and resolutions. What am I doing now that I wasn't doing last year? Should I pick on one of you first? I think so. Caleb's trying to stall. How about...
What did I do?
Yeah, exactly. It's just the way you are. No. Mel, what would you say that you were doing... What are you doing now? Maybe in the way of resolution, maybe in the way of commitment?
We've already talked about the fact that I don't make resolutions.
We
Remember,
did.
we had
did
that
talk
question.
about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm doing this podcast, which I never thought I would ever do.
Yeah, that's right. You were like adamantly opposed.
Yes.
You were like never. Why? Why were you adamantly opposed?
It's just... I'm not an out there person.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. I read your mind.
It goes against every fiber of my being.
Why? How? This is...
I don't know. That's the way I was raised. I was raised like, don't draw attention to yourself.
Yes.
Which is funny because my sister is so not like that.
She is super not like that.
She's super out there.
But wait a second. Like, I mean, you get dolled up, right? You get dolled up. Am I 80 now? Is that what I'm doing?
I get dolled up.
No, I mean...
That's just normal, getting dressed.
I just got this very vintage image of you with
dolled
pearls,
up.
like...
Yeah, a little.
I'm just, like I said, I don't know. I'm old. I don't know. Isn't that's not for... I mean, obviously it's not for overt attention.
No, that's
well, you
not
got my attention in your 20s. I mean, that was dolled up then. Anyway.
Stop saying dolled up.
Sorry. I'm not saying dolled up anymore.
Was the not drawing attention because you were supposed to be meek and humble?
No, I think...
I wouldn't describe the Jones girls as meek and humble.
Okay.
No, we're not. I think it was more like... So my dad was more the, like, keep it under the radar. Don't draw attention to yourself. But it was never about, like... It wasn't shameful or anything like that. It was just like... He just never wanted to be embarrassed.
Yes.
I think. And so he, like... when you feel that, and I did this to my kids,
friend shaming.
It's like, I'm feeling embarrassed for you, so I'm going to help you not embarrass yourself, kind of thing, like that. Yeah. So it was, it wasn't like I don't feel like it was like you be quiet and don't cause a scene. It was more like, let's all just
we don't
not
do
embarrass
that.
ourselves.
We're not those people. Yes, we're not out there people.
Yeah.
Well, one time we gave him a hard time. He used to own a Corvette. And we gave him a hard time about, hey, we should join a Corvette club. And he goes, I'm not really a club guy. and that was it. Like, that was... You're getting. I imagine you're getting a picture as Phil Jones is like wearing a cowboy hat, and he says but 3 words, and that's all he has to ever say. Yeah. No, he's very conversational. He's very interested in people, but you get what he means. Yeah. He's just not one to follow anyone, and that would be So interesting. So Megan, what about you? What are you doing now that you were not doing last year?
So right about a year ago, but not quite at this point in the year, I started yoga.
Oh.
Pilates.
Cool.
And I joined a women's business group that I'm still actively a part of, and it's been a pretty amazing experience for me. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious about the yoga. Is it yoga / Pilates, or is it...
So it's a yoga and Pilates studio, but I go and take Pilates classes on reformers, which is this really cool low impact. You start out feeling like you're laying down, working out all the time, but you use your own resistance. And then you get into other levels where you do things where you're not just laying down. But it's a heck of a workout. Like every time I go, my abs hurt. Even though,
sure. You have to hold positions and stuff.
Those are the big machine. Like I've seen those. They're
very
crazy
cool.
looking.
Yeah, lots of strength training. And then they also offer yoga.
Yes.
And I love, a lot of times I take the evening class, the last Pilates, and then I go straight into yoga. And I have learned one of my favorite yogas is called Yin. Oh. And it's predominantly stretching and breath work. And it is so amazing. Lots of mindfulness.
Such a body connection thing. Mm-hmm. That's hugely important and a huge tool for body connection for those who have spent a lot of time trying to remain disconnected from their bodies.
Yes, sir.
And it is a thing.
Yep.
Wow. And so I imagine there's a certain amount of challenge to it also. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you ever go through the head games where it's like, I can't do this, or when you first started it or anything like that? Like, this is impossible.
Still, yeah.
But kudos that you're still like push. That's part of it is saying I can do this challenge.
Yes. And there's, I mean, Caleb, I don't know you real well, but you're a therapist, so I'm just going to talk about girl stuff in front of you. Because you got to be comfortable with it, right?
Sure.
But, if I take a couple days off and I go back, it hurts again. And it's a challenge again. It's a muscle you keep working, and it's use it or lose it. But also once as a woman, when you learn your rhythm of your cycle, there is 1 week a month, and it's probably not the week y'all think. Everything in your body hurts differently, especially midlife.
Wow.
Where like I will get on the Pilates and I'm supposed to be like up, I'll get on the reformer machine and I'm supposed to be up on my knees with my, toes tucked back under me. And the tops of my feet will be in excruciating pain, even though they aren't doing anything.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden,
seems unfair.
That workout is so much more intensely difficult.
Oh my gosh.
Or I'm doing leg circles, and a certain area of my hips will be quivering in ways that don't happen at any other time of the month.
Interesting.
And then you got to choose, like, do I just skip this week altogether, or do I push through this because I know that's what my body really needs?
Well, that's doing yourself the favor, right? It's not just being passive and going, I quit, and it's not quitting on yourself. So awesome. Well, now mine seems ridiculous. Caleb, what's going on with you?
I was thinking about this. I feel like, because I'm doing a lot of the same things as I was a year ago, a lot of things I'm involved in, but I think I've become a lot more intentional in my ministry in particular.
Okay.
Especially, so I'm in like youth group too. I'm a high school small group leader. And I've just been a lot more intentional about like sharing my own faith journey, and also like challenging them in new ways to like,
very cool,
like make this your own. Like I'm gonna challenge you to take ownership of like what's one thing you're gonna do this week that's gonna that's informed by what we've learned today, and I'm gonna check in with you about how it's going. And same for like I've started discipling some other adults my age one-on-one, kind of helping guide them, and then I started recently a Bible study for other men my age as well, where I'm doing some of those same things of challenging. And
that's cool. So does that convict you to be like, I better like follow through?
Oh, for sure. Yes, well, a lot of it is I have my brother who's a big leader in my life who challenges me and has really challenged me to also challenge others. And so it's a continuous cycle of multiplication.
Between you and your brother, you're the slacker?
Well, he's the firstborn, so I'm the baby.
I'm like, this guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, if you met my
great.
brother, oh yeah, you'd be blown away.
Oh, that's wow. That's speaking very highly of him.
Oh, yeah,
I can't wait to
he's
someday
incredible.
run into this person.
Caleb, I didn't know you were in youth ministry, and I absolutely love that that's the new thing for you this year. And I so want to encourage you to stick with it no matter what, because as a school counselor, and I know, Chris, you worked with adolescents
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
When we're becoming therapists, they actually teach us, they drill into us and indoctrinate that you're not supposed to self-disclose. Chris and I had this conversation recently. And it was because I worked with youth that I started self-disclosing as a therapist. And what I realized instead was, particularly with adolescents, that's the primary way to help create change in them, because they have to know that you've been in their shoes and you get it. Or they will never shift.
Yep.
So
And,
keep it up.
Yeah. So I've been in youth ministry for many years now, but I was saying, like, that's kind of become new in this year, and kind of more of that. I don't know, just more intentionality and more. I continue growing and I get to help others. But I've been in like high school camp ministry too.
Right on.
Stuff like that.
That's
really cool. And I have a lot of really cool stories of like just getting to see kids really come out of their
high
shell.
schoolers, man. So many of them have a very sensitive and high, if I can say this, BS detector.
Oh yeah.
And so they are looking for the real deal. Right. And if they don't sense it, then
and what I've learned too is a lot of it is just consistency. Like showing up on a consistent basis and like noticing them and welcoming them and stuff like that too. Just making them feel like you're gonna be a constant presence in their life, and being someone who can be there for them and is stable.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Nice. Well, I suppose it's my turn.
Yeah.
So,
what you got, Chris?
What I am doing this year that I haven't done last year, I am actually utilizing ChatGPT in a number of different ways. And
a huge number.
Chris has been taken over by technological overlords.
Don't slam Carl like that, okay?
He's named him.
That's my husband's
Carl.
name. This is
that's awesome. Well, every variation of Carl too. Carlitos, Charles, Charlemagne, all the ones.
Mine is Chatty.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I got to add that one. Chuck. So this week in particular, I have, and I never have done this before, but something weird was going on with me in where, for some reason, I was gaining weight.
Oh.
And here I am working out pretty on the reg, and yet I'm still gaining weight. And so I decided to use ChatGPT to track all my calories, and wow, what an eye opener! Apparently, the mindset I had of how much calories certain things are is not actually reality. So, for example, there was this wonderful breakfast burrito at Penny University, and I would say, look, no potatoes, an extra egg, and I thought 2-3 eggs, whatever, it's got to be 600 calories, something like that. Well, I took a picture. This is what you can do. You can take a picture. It was already cut in half. I took a picture of half, and I said, this is half of it. And ChatGPT comes back and says, oh, the whole thing probably has 6 to 7 eggs. It's about 1,400 calories, just the one burrito. And by the way, the Chipotle sauce did not help, even though it was delicious. And so what was happening is I was burning 3,000 calories, and I was consuming about 3,300 calories.
And who told you all of this before, Carl?
And exactly. So I remember a faint voice in my memory saying, Chris, you're eating too much. Apparently, and by the way, my wife's Zuppo Toscano soup didn't help either.
Oh, that's because you had multiple helpings.
Maybe.
That's a broth-based soup. They don't have calories.
That's right. That's
Those
right.
are free. Those are for freezies.
That's right. So unfortunately, I entered that soup after I ate it. And then it shot back that it was like I was headed for a good day, man. I was wanted to be under 3,000. I was like, I'm doing this. It's happening. And I'm thinking 2,800 calories. I was at 2,300 calories. And I thought maybe 500 calories for the soup. I'm pushing it a little bit. But hey, 1,000 calories of soup I ate that day.
You probably would have been fine if you didn't have seconds.
Perhaps. But at the same, so now I've been continuing to track. I'm shooting for 200 grams of protein a day. Been hitting that. And I'm working out, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm tracking my calories, and it is a mind blower because it's one of those things where we live, including me, in this state of fantasy that says, "Oh, things are actually going the way I hope they will go," instead of actually taking the time. And this is why they do it in Weight Watchers, to make us aware of our own behaviors. And I love food. I just love food so much. It is a gift from the Lord, but it's one of those things we pervert. At any rate, all that to say is, now I'm well below, past couple of days, well below 2,500, and I'm super excited because my goal is to lose 50 pounds. So there, I said it, and there's some sort of psychological principle where if you say something, it can actually feel like you've done it. Except I really have to follow through too. So anyway,
you're just manifesting it.
Manifest, whatever they call it.
Congrats on the last few days.
There you go. I know. I got 2 days together. Now I can tell other people how to do it. So that is what I'm doing different now that I wasn't doing last year. I'm finally being serious about, is it okay to eat this? I can't just say, oh yeah, I mowed the lawn today. Sure, I'll have an extra helping. Anyway, there you have it. So.
Well, hey, I just realized we didn't do Caleb's Corner.
I was thinking about that too.
Oh.
Yeah.
So by the way, what is happening
Caleb's Corner?
In Caleb's Corner?
Well, okay, I have a trivia competition tonight.
Oh.
So I've been doing, and I had a trivia competition last week too. So I'm curious if anyone has any trivia questions for me, just to test my knowledge right off the bat.
Oh gosh.
I'm putting it on you guys, so
off the bat.
We'll see how I'll do tonight.
A trivia question. Let's see, off the top of my head. On what day?
Oh gosh!
On what day in history did Hitler attack Poland?
Whoa! Tuesday.
That's awesome. Nice try.
Am I right?
Day and date.
Oh, history is not my strong suit.
Well, then you're.
Is it multiple?
I'm
multiple
not. It's
subjects?
like history, sports are my worst.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You picked this guy.
I know, Chris. You should be on my team.
September 1st, 1939.
Okay. There you go.
Where do you do these trivia contests?
So this is actually going to be hosted at our church, and it's the
Nice.
first time we've hosted one. It's sort of our kickoff, because it's something we're hoping to do consistently. But I also go to some local trivia nights at like some gaming stores and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And then you have a team and...
Yeah, well,
Are
it's
you on a
kind of
team or
been
is it
different every
individual?
time. So my mom was on Jeopardy back in the day.
Really?
Long time
Yes.
ago, like when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
And so she still has retained all of that knowledge from being on Jeopardy.
Wow.
And so I much prefer to be on her team than against her.
Oh, absolutely.
So she's on my team
Mom's the
tonight.
ringer.
So hopefully,
Oh, good.
we do.
I have one for you that's going to make my husband
boy.
proud.
Okay.
Because he's a
Okay.
trivia guy too.
Okay.
Name the world's largest rodent.
Whoa.
I know this.
Oh,
Rodent.
hold your tongue.
Yeah, it's not your
I'm
question.
tempted to say rats of unusual size, but they don't exist.
It's rodents.
There's
of
a
unusual-
rodents of unusual. Yeah. Oh man, a rodent. I want to say. See, now I'm thinking like Australia, but then you get like marsupials, so that's not.
Yeah.
Because I want to say like a. I don't think a capybara is a rodent. Wow. Yeah. Then I'm like. Oof.
She's going to ask for your final answer here.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, what defines a rodent? All I can think of are rats and mice, and then I'm like,
We've
all right.
only got 45
Okay,
minutes
I give
left.
up. All right, what is
I'm
it?
about to like do the Jeopardy song right now.
yes.
Right, dun,
My
dun.
brain's
Okay.
rolling.
It's a capybara.
Oh, it is a capybara?
Exactly.
Wow.
We
Okay.
saw them at the zoo with the girls
I
in
love
Kansas
capybaras.
City.
Okay.
Did we?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to lock that away in my brain.
There
and
you
we'll
go.
see.
Congratulations,
We'll see.
Caleb.
Maybe it'll be Final Jeopardy tonight, and I'll know it. Okay, capybara.
On what day did Martin Luther nail the 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg Castle?
Everybody
Tuesday.
knows
It was a
that.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday.
Day and date.
Oh, day and date?
Yes.
I think I was just talking about
It was
this last
Halloween.
night. Yes, October
Reformation Day.
31st.
First? Yeah.
I don't
Isn't
know
it
what
1517?
But
There you go.
what day
Anyways.
it was actually.
All right, let's get into it.
Anyways.
Right.
We better get into the
So,
episode here.
Yes.
what is
Are you
codependency?
Am I codependent?
am I
I think is the
codependent?
question.
Megan,
Yes.
what is your experience with codependency? And,
Oh, I thought you were asking me. Am I codependent? Yeah.
well, you've
Still,
confessed.
yes. Yeah.
Megan, what makes you codependent?
all the things.
And
So what's really interesting about this, you mentioned earlier when we were talking that there's this spectrum.
yes.
And there is not a clear definition.
I love it. Yes.
What is this? How do I know if this is me?
Yeah.
And there's some history to the word also that a lot of people are like, oh, if it's not, if I don't equal that, then I
Yes.
don't have it. And then they go around like just floundering, not knowing what's wrong with them when they actually do struggle with it.
Sure.
So my definition
I love this.
of
Yes.
it is codependency is a broken relationship with yourself.
That is awesome. And I'm sure it manifests in many different ways.
That wind up becoming compulsive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that reaches a lot of things. So even in my model, the PRE, personal, relational, external, where we have a relationship with ourselves, others, and the environment. As you said, relationship with the self is the person. The self-worth and identity hinges on being needed. The relationships with others become the primary ground of regulation and usually asymmetry when it's not balanced. This has all kinds of implications. And in the environment becomes unpredictable unless the person, quote, manages it through hypervigilance or caretaking. And that then has them become like a high, what do they call it? You know this. I mean, it's overachieving, overfunctioning of others, of the codependent person, underfunctioning in the self, and the collapse of reciprocity. So,
You did your homework. You also just perfectly summarized the last episode where I shared my story.
yes. Oh, by the way, if you haven't heard that episode, ladies and gentlemen, you'll never understand this episode. But anyway, this is like Kickboxer 2.
Yeah.
So, expand on that.
Well, I think for me, I told you I'm a developmentalist, so let's start
Yes.
with origins.
Okay.
So codependency really kind of got its uptick and its grounding related to 12-step recovery with AA when someone is in relationship with an alcoholic.
Yes.
So originally it was only referred to as if I'm in relationship with an alcoholic, I'm codependent to their addiction. And what that would sometimes look like was perhaps you're that very supportive partner who swears that they want their addict partner to get better. And then that person does everything they need to do to begin getting better. And then that creates an uncertainty and a discomfort in you. And so then you respond to that by, in a very kind and covert way, sabotaging their sobriety, right? And bringing
because if
them
they get
back
sober,
in.
they don't need you anymore.
They don't need you anymore, or all of a sudden, like, they start behaving in healthy ways that leave you like not knowing where you stand, or
Isn't
not
that
knowing where
something?
what boundaries are happening, and or they give you autonomy and choice, and you don't know how to do that for yourself. And so there's this like striving, and in our therapy world we call it you're doing everything to grasp them back into a state of homeostasis.
Yes.
Which is like we want everything to go back to what we know, right?
Yes, the devil we know.
And so maybe that's like, oh, you're 6 months sober. You've done such a good job. It's okay. I'll just put, like a little splash in your coffee. Or maybe because I'm so proud of you, you get a congratulatory, like, travel bottle in your stocking this year for Christmas, because it's okay to just have one drink sometimes. Or other ways that all of a sudden we shift our behaviors to try to bring out the behaviors in you that make things feel normal and comfortable again for us, right?
It's unconscious, right?
Totally. 100% most of the time.
It's amazing because that's all about like, if wait a second, if you don't need me and I don't know who I am, what am I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And God forbid you start to become independent and enjoy things by yourself away from alcohol.
Where does that leave me?
I know.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to be wrapped up in each other. This is... Wow.
What about in like in a non addiction relationship.
So that's where it got its origins. And everybody was like, oh, if I don't have an alcoholic partner, I must not be codependent.
No problems here.
That's not me they're talking about.
Way to squeeze out of it.
Yeah. And for me, I have a recovery background, but I didn't go to a recovery program. I didn't go to a 12-step recovery program that was solely for alcohol or chemical addiction. I went to a faith-based recovery program called Celebrate Recovery that was recovery from life.
Booyah.
And they had a codependency group. However, part of my story is that I've struggled with food addiction my whole life. So I started out, first of all, not even necessarily thinking I needed to go for me. I was just going to support someone else.
Oh, of course. That is beautiful, by the way.
I don't really need this, but I'll do whatever you need for you to get better.
That's awesome.
So I walked in the doors thinking I'm supporting someone else. And then they were like, oh, you got to pick a group to go to. So I chose food addiction. And then the more I started working on my own recovery, and I had weight loss surgery. So like, I can't overeat anymore. Oh, hey, you know what? I still have all the issues because they did surgery on my stomach, not my brain. And my brain, the brain-heart connection is where all my issues are. So I started realizing over time, the more and more I worked my own recovery and got healthy, that codependency was underneath all of my other maladaptive things.
Wow.
And so just to answer your question, when it's not in connection with an addict, first of all, overwhelmingly, the majority of the time, codependency is weaved into our lives before the age of 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Sure.
Wow.
Which is completely disconnected from the fact that we may or may not have an addict in our lives at that point.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But then it manifests itself more and more and more when we engage in these unhealthy relationships over time.
Oh.
And then it turns into I'm doing everything to control my circumstances, to control the people in my lives, to control the external so that I feel peace. And
Wow.
I feel whole and I feel needed. And because everything in me is dependent on how everything outside of me is going.
Which is, I mean, again, sitting here as a therapist and you even saying it as a therapist, we know right away that is an illusion or a delusion, right? That the idea that we could control people or circumstances, that would, person or environment, is it's a recipe for hurt, disappointment, and frustration,
and depression and anxiety.
Yes, those all the things.
I'm curious about the 5. Like, what does that look like? Like, what do you, when you say that it starts forming before the age of 5? Is this in an unhealthy family dynamic?
Very often. With the most well-intended people.
Uh-huh.
Because most people who struggle with codependency are the nicest, most giving helpers you will ever meet.
Okay.
Most of them are caring professionals.
Yes.
There are teachers and our clergy members and our therapists and
So, by the way, you just
our
named
nurses.
I say the professions with the poorest boundaries. You just named them all. Nurses. I say, I joke,
We're
nurses.
expected to have the most well-behaved kids.
Pastors. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. Nurses, pastors, teachers and counselors. And I always say, and I was 2 of those, but I'm okay.
You're the exception, right?
I am totally the exception, right?
And just interesting little thing about that I have always found pivotal. When I was in grad school, my first night of grad school to be a therapist, I was in a cohort of 30-something.
Okay.
And I think they did it as a scared straight tactic. I do. But the teacher who got up and started talking to all of us encouraged us to look around the room at all, 30-something peers in this cohort. And they said, half of you will not be here for graduation.
Wow.
Graduate level, and everybody's looking around going, what are you talking about, lady? And she said, many of you will find that you think you want to be a therapist, but what you actually need is therapy.
Oh, that's incredible.
And because you just want to go help everybody else, but it's because you haven't gotten the help you really need yet. You want to fix people, and that's not what being a therapist is about.
Exactly.
And whether they left for that or other reasons, it was almost exactly accurate.
Isn't that something? But and nobody wants to believe it's me.
Yeah.
I'm the one gonna,
Yeah.
that's gonna discover something.
Which is interesting, because one of the reasons you asked me to come on here was because you saw a video of me sharing, like, hey, this was the moment I figured out I was my own problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into that a little bit. So you brought it up.
Well, I don't want to ignore your question because we didn't answer it. We just went on a total side.
You're good. Yeah.
But for, that under 5. So like I shared in my story, I didn't have this like horribly fractured. I wasn't terribly abused as a child. I remember having great childhood memories, and I had an intact family of origin. However, I grew up with a mom who I now know probably struggled with some mental health issues and was highly overcritical. Yeah. I can now say very likely codependent herself for lots of good reasons.
Sure.
And while I resented her for it over the years, I now really have a true heart of compassion for her. And I have a heart of compassion for anyone who doesn't understand why they're doing all of the things they're doing, but they just keep repeating the same patterns all of the time and doesn't realize how that continues to fracture their relationships and have major impact. So, for me, I grew up with an environment that constantly told me that I needed to do. And nothing was ever good enough. And I needed to strive for more. And there was a lot of broken relationship because compliance was asserted through yelling and fear and intimidation and things like that. And for most kids, and I want to give the shout out to all the people listening, because if you're a parent listening and all of a sudden you are thinking, oh no, I've already destroyed my 4-year-old and I didn't even know it. Right. We have the best of intention.
Sure.
But it really is an assertion of control on our kids where they're not able to come out of growth and development with, we call it Maslow's hierarchy of needs. All of their physiological safety, love, and belonging needs met that form their self-esteem. We go through these stages of development where we build autonomy or we build shame and doubt. I came out of that stage with a lot of shame and doubt. When we build autonomy, we have self-confidence and we know how to have boundaries. When we build shame and doubt, that doesn't happen.
Wow.
So and we go through that stage when we're like 2 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? And when you take that and you combined it with, the nature nurture debate of, how the environment continues to impact and what your life experiences bring from there, we can overcome very resiliently those fractured times of development. But if we don't, and then they continue to build on other life experiences that nurture and manifest all of those seeds, they're going to result in someone who does not know how to self-regulate, does not know how to have relationship unless they're creating peace. But they do wind up, the majority of them, nicest helping people.
Sure.
And you would never know that really there's this foundation of deep insecurity that just is going to do whatever it takes to make sure that everybody else is okay, because that's the only way they can be okay.
Wow. Well, and it's interesting, even as you name that, right? And there's different types, labels with codependency. There's covert and overt and all that stuff. But there's this unspoken rule that your actions and behavior determine whether or not I'm okay.
Yep.
And we talked about this with agency. So therefore, you have to do what I hope and desire and want you to do. Otherwise, I will try to control that in some way, whether I emotionally break down, whether I raise my voice, or whether it's some sort of manipulation that you've got to do what I want you to do. In which case, the other person isn't their own person, and neither are you.
You nailed it.
Phew, man, because I got the expert here.
And there is different layers to that because I shared, I can confidently say my mom has some layers of codependency to her. Mine and her personality drastically different.
Yeah.
Mine was much more covert.
Sure.
Hers is far more overt. But how that rolls out looks very similar, just presents a little different.
Okay.
Right? We're both trying to control all the time, just in different ways.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And in that attempt to control, we do it without ever being asked. That's where that helper comes in, right? That caretaker. I can sense your needs, just like I might not really fall in love with you, Chris. I'm going to fall in love with the best side of you I know you can be once I change you.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I spend years trying to change you and you don't change, I'm resentful, even though you never asked for change. You never wanted change.
Isn't that something?
How dare you not accept my help? Because I know what's really best for both of us.
150% you
Which
do.
I think is so many women
Yes.
go, and I'm sure there's codependent men too, but like so many women go into marriage with that mindset.
Yeah.
So let's hold that thought, and we're going to hear a word from our sponsor, and we're going to come back in a moment. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Oneth reminding you that our next question is brought to you by Downey Park Counseling Associates, where since 1977, we have a group of Christian counselors that are ready to help you with any need. Visit us at our website at downeyparkcounseling.com. Okay, we're back. Yes, okay. So we just talked about how, it's very much controlling of other people. And I love what you said about my worth, my okayness is dependent on someone else following through. And if I don't get that, then I will grow in resentment and blame you. So can you take it away?
Yeah. So in my second marriage, after I had a very broken picker, right? I have a laundry list of unsuccessful relationships, most of which ended in me either feeling hurt or betrayed, let down, or that I just outgrew them.
Oh.
Right? Because I would put up these walls of protection to make sure that I always had one upper hand. Like I was always just a little bit more educated, or I was the one that made a little bit more money, or I was the one that X, Y, and Z. So I would unconsciously set myself up to be in the position that if this ends and you go away, I have the upper hand, even though I'm highly dependent on this never ending. Right?
Oh, interesting.
Right?
So you still felt good. The upper hand is I'm still okay because I have this thing and you're the broken one. Okay.
And because we oftentimes when we're struggling with codependency, we also maybe are people pleasers and we struggle with perfectionism. And those are not necessarily one and the same, but they're highly connected. So this overachieving, perfectionistic person in me that always wanted to look like I had it good on the outside, right? My internal relationships are broken, but I've got everything put together on the outside. And that's one of my protectors too. So in this laundry list of horrible relationship choices, very unhealthy relationships, I wound up meeting my current husband in church after, a divorce, and then I was a single mom, and we met in church, and we were both involved in Celebrate Recovery. So we were both working on getting better, and that's the perfect place, right, to meet somebody that you're going to marry, which it can be if you do it the right way with really healthy boundaries. And in recovery, they tell everybody you should not be in a relationship for the first 12 months. We were both newly in recovery, and we're like, hey, we're going to grow through this together.
You're different, though. You were different.
Yeah, we were definitely
than
different.
Everybody else in the world, and nobody knows what they're talking about when it comes to you guys.
100%, yes.
Yes.
So we dated 9 or 10 months or so before we were married. And then we are maybe a year or so into our marriage. And about 18 months is my personal cycle.
Oh.
And many people's personal cycle where the love goggles come off. And traditionally, in the way we used to get married, and we'd wait until marriage often, the way God designed life to be, we'd wait until marriage. And then the honeymoon phase was traditionally about 18 months to 2 years into marriage. There's biology behind that.
Wow.
Right? Because once we start having sex and we become attached, we see someone differently. We don't see all of their flaws. And we're running around with extra endorphins floating all the time.
Sure.
Well,
That's so...
in my unhealthy relationships, I was putting out right away. So those love blinders, they go on real fast.
Wow.
And then 18 months later, all of a sudden they're off. And I'm like, I actually don't like you all that much. And
So
I've invested a lot into this, right?
Is that cycle? Is it that cycle of going into it hoping, going into it thinking you're the person I hope you will be, not the person you actually are? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then after 18 months, that kind of wanes a little bit.
Yeah. Coupled with all of those endorphins that are floating around and everything else.
Okay.
And so we were, we dated about 10 months and then we're married about a year. So we're coming up on that 2-year mark. And all of a sudden, I'm miserable in this relationship again.
Wow.
But this relationship was supposed to be the different one because this relationship was a church guy.
That's right.
And we're in recovery. And so we wind up through our church going to some biblical marriage counseling.
Okay.
And we sit across from this lady and she says, hey, what brings you guys in today? And like, we were at the point where I was like, I'm debating leaving this man. I am miserable. And this is just awful. And because I'm getting healthy and I know that I can be independent, now I know that I deserve better. And this just isn't working. I wasn't yet thinking it's because you haven't changed yet, right?
Oh my gosh.
So she says, hey, what brings you guys in? And I was quiet at first, and he chimed in the most innocent, oblivious way. And he just motions towards me with his shoulders shrugged at the counselor, and he says, I'm just here to support my wife so she can start feeling better.
Oh, boy.
I'm sure that went over well.
Oh, boy.
And I was just about lost my cool. And
that's it right there.
Yes. Because I was struggling with depression.
Okay.
And I was infuriated that he couldn't see that if he would just step up and he would just change, I would get better.
Isn't that, there it is. I mean, if you do something different, then I can be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had been in recovery for almost a year now for
by
codependency.
The way, just wow, that's so great.
But I was just working on my past. I didn't realize it was still in my present.
And that can be discouraging to a lot of people who think, I've been doing all this work and I haven't learned anything. And what I say to people is like, I say, you're working in layers here, right? You've got one layer down. You've got a couple layers down. But now you're getting to places where there's deeper layers. Right. And the stuff is still being revealed. And that's what God's asking you to kind of work on.
Well, and for me, too, part of my recovery was that there were things that were legitimately done to me.
Yeah.
It was so 100%. Much easier at that point of my healing to address the things that had been done to me, not the ways that I had continued to do those things to myself moving forward from there.
And by the way, here's the other dirty secret here. You, in marriage counseling, are the hardest people to work with. Because you already know everything. And that's part of the codependent thing is like, it's the self-help people that are because I've been doing all the studying, I've been doing all the growing, they're not doing anything, and not seeing that all of that is some sort of manifestation of a power that you're now hitting your spouse over the head with, and you don't see it. And then a guy like me comes along and goes, hey, what about the thing? And then I'm the biggest jerk in the world.
Yeah. It's manipulation of hope.
Ooh.
Right? When we're doing all those really subtle things to manipulate somebody into change, we're just hoping it will work.
Oh my gosh. So then, and the other thing is then you have a relationship not with the actual person, with the fantasy in your head.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which will always be disappointing, because
that's why Mel lowered her expectations
loving
a long time ago.
So what was it? Okay, keep going on.
Well,
your story
you just said disappointing, and for me, and I think for many who struggle with codependency, when you're doing everything to help everyone who's not actually asking you for it, right? And then they aren't like majorly indebted to you or acknowledging it or changing the way you hope, it breeds resentment and disappointment. And then because you have no boundaries and you don't want to upset anybody and you just want to people please, you don't bring up that disappointment. And so then you stuff it and it festers, and unresolved resentment will implode in our bodies, change our chemical makeup, and lead to depression and anxiety.
Wow.
So I'm this depressed wife that I've created myself because I've got all of these resentments that I'm not ever talking about that are no fault of his own because he never asked to be changed.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So I'm the problem.
Oh, it's so hard. Oh, to confess.
And then to swallow that pill and go back and look at how that same pattern existed in every relationship, including a lot of the ones I thought were done to me. That can be an even harder pill to swallow. To really look at yourself and figure out what truly have these patterns been my entire life and what impact have they had and how do I create change from here?
Well, that is some radical honesty.
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, it's like the burning of the dross,
painful,
right?
painful.
It's the and it's.
I love what you just said about he never asked to be changed. Like he didn't enter that relationship going, "Oh, Megan's gonna rescue me." You know. I mean, because that's so.
Yes.
So many relationships we go into that we engage in that we're like. Hoping for something that it's not even on their radar, or it's not something they've
and then if
asked
it's
for.
Resisted, then that leads to conflict because how dare in our case, how dare I resist that? Because then that would put in compromise, just by way of example, your whole job and being that you saw yourself in. Yeah.
And then the cycle perpetuates because it either leads to more fractured relationships and everyone keeps leaving you. And so there's this horrible self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, wow.
Or they stay, but it becomes passive or passive aggressive or two people just living together but not actually doing life. They're just roommates.
Yeah.
And then eventually in their lives, they become bitter and alone.
Sure. Well, so does part of that involve, like, I suppose when you're talking about this, like, everybody is somehow hurting me. Everybody eventually hurts me and disappoints me and lets me down.
When I do so much for them.
100%.
But that's a hard thing to have to recognize about yourself.
It is.
What was the process of you finally realizing that?
Yeah.
Like what was the aha moment?
Well, that moment in therapy when all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I've created this for myself. And I've been victimizing myself, playing the victim, staying in a victim mentality and thinking that everyone else was doing this to me. That was a huge aha. Coupled with building up to that in my 12 months of recovery, I was a single mom and I was doing everything in my power to juggle all of the things to make sure that my infant child did not feel the weight of the reality of our world.
Wow.
And I was burning myself out.
Okay.
And then in my recovery as well, almost the same time, it was like this perfect storm where I had like 2 weeks of aha. Because in a 12-step recovery program, you do what's called a fearless and searching moral inventory.
Yes. Radical honesty.
Yeah.
That sounds very painful.
It is, right? And it's with everything that's been done to you and everything you have done to others. And the way my brain works, I did it all and I organized it because I'm a type A personality and I color coded it.
Oh, wow.
As if anyone was going to see it besides me and my sponsor, who is total different personality and wouldn't have cared if,
Yeah, right, exactly.
if it was on a chalkboard.
But I did this great thing.
And a lot of times as a therapist, I describe myself as a puzzle piece therapist. I have this unique ability to see things from a bird's eye view and go, hey, I'm pretty sure if we put this piece that feels lost right here, all of a sudden we're going to be able to see so much more of this picture and keep building.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to look at my own inventory from a very different view and begin to see all of the impact and infliction through parallels.
Oh my gosh.
And I put all of these correlations together.
Jeez.
And they all equaled me.
Oh, gee, this is almost like a stumbling out of the session, like bleary-eyed, like, oh my gosh, I killed Mufasa, or whatever.
I'm the common denominator to everything in my own life.
Wow. And okay, so even in that process, painful as it was, it could also at the same time, and by the way, black and white thinkers they don't find solace in this because they want one or the other.
Yeah.
They don't find solace in being completely destroyed and also redeemed. Right? Because something like that is like, oh my Lord. But also, I've just unlocked something.
Yeah. And there is so much freedom living in the gray, which is not either or, it's both and.
Yes, 100%. So I am both destroyed and uplifted.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what's the process of recovery then? And by the way, something I ask each of my clients on the first session, my first question to them is, what do you do for fun? Because oftentimes codependent people cannot answer that. That's a knowing laugh, right?
Yes.
So when you tell me I'm a single mom, I'm doing all the things, and now I find this man, and now, he's my world, to ask Megan back then what she did for fun is the blinking and the...
Yeah. No, my honest answer now, looking back, is I would have said men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I sleep.
I didn't do that either because
wow.
The only way I could keep going and keep doing more and keep pleasing people was if I sacrificed more sleep. Right? The only way to fit it all in was to sleep a little less.
And so the corollary to that question is, if you had a weekend to yourself, what would you do? Now
or then?
Then.
Yeah. I would have probably made a bunch of plans with other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I say, no, not other people. By yourself.
And asked them what they wanted to do.
Perfect. And so now that's changed. And so what's the answer now?
I would get away by myself any chance I got. Yeah. What do I do for fun now?
Sure.
I love to write.
Wow.
I am a foodie like you.
Yes.
Like my favorite...
I'm a foodie through her.
Oh, yeah?
Because
she's an amazing cook.
She is, and she has higher standards than I do. If I find it on the floor and I can just brush the dirt off it, I'll eat it. Yeah. But I've learned to appreciate good food because of this beautiful woman. So,
But what were you going to say?
In regard food,
yes,
I love to travel. Yeah. I love to try authentic local food.
Oh man,
yeah.
I adore peaceful scenery. I feel very connected to nature.
Wonderful.
I take a walk anytime. I will blare music. I love a good road trip even without a destination.
Nice.
Right? But my favorite guilty pleasure, because I love food, but I also very much love health, and I really enjoy twisting recipes into healthy recipes.
Nice.
So my guilty pleasure is to collect health food magazines, get them all laid out to plan my meal prep for the week or just because. And I will go through and I'll find all the fun recipes that I want to make, and I'll create these grocery lists and these really healthy food plans while I eat 100% processed junk food. Because for me, that is balance.
So awesome. You're like, can't all be strict. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
That's
then this
awesome.
year I started yoga, and that has really become another one for me.
Amazing.
Girl time.
Oh,
I got lots of them now.
That's cool.
Great. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so we talked about, and we were doing good on time. We're coming up toward the end here. So you talked about what, how codependency manifests itself, there's a few, and we've touched on all these, by the way. But as the list goes, just for people who are listening to keep it organized, there's overt and covert manifestations of codependence or codependency or whatever. Overt include excessive caregiving, identity fused with another person, enabling addiction or avoidance. So you pretend, no, nothing, everything's fine, nothing's wrong. Chronic apologizing.
Yeah.
That is a product of thinking you are responsible for the other person's potential reactions that you're trying to anticipate, and so you apologize again and again. Emotional labor imbalance, sacrificing personal goals, boundaries, or values, or I would also say not having personal goals, boundaries, and values, agreeing to things out of fear of rejection, or a fear of relational rupture, which is rejection. Okay. Walking on eggshells around others. Moods. So being overtly like, oh my gosh, I've got to be totally aware of their moods and make sure they're okay. And that's my job. So
reading other people.
And by the way, that's called attunement. And there's a blessing and a curse because, and I will ask clients this. So when you walk into a room, are you the type of person that can read the emotional room? And most often the codependent person says, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which then is elimination of the self and not realizing, okay, what is my experience here?
Yeah, because then you're also in that, you're robbing yourself of being yourself, because as soon as you read the room, you adapt yourself to it and you mirror what you get.
Yes.
What you're reading, what you're receiving.
Oh, yes.
Instead of just tapping into who you truly are and who you are feeling in this moment.
Well, it's the going out to eat dilemma. Where do you want to go to eat? Where do you want to go to eat, Megan?
I don't know. Where do you want to go, Chris?
I don't know. Wherever you want to go.
Anything sounds good to me.
Okay, so
micromanaging is one that you didn't mention.
Oh, micromanaging.
Especially
thank you.
How it shows up in the workplace, especially as a boss, because those overachievers wind up being bosses.
And yes, and people like the workplace love that sort of dysfunction. And by the way, so do churches, because they can get a lot of volunteer hours out of you, because we all have our dysfunctions. So subtle manifestations include micro self-betrayals. It's fine. It's fine when it's really not fine. Anticipatory compliance, shaping yourself to avoid displeasure. Emotional outsourcing. Tell me how to feel about this. How do you feel about it? I don't know how I feel about it. How do you feel? It's like the Internet Movie Database, isn't it, Caleb? Over-identification with relational roles. So I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm a fixer, I'm a peacemaker. And then once, of course, the kids leave the home, it's like, who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boundary confusion. If they're upset, I must repair it. You mentioned that. Boy, you hit all the targets here, Meg.
Yay! Kind of sounds like I know what I'm talking about.
All right. Yeah, exactly. And you performed well. No, I'm just kidding. Feeling responsible for others' inner worlds. Under-reporting needs. I don't want to be a burden. Feeling guilty over doing something for yourself. That is a huge one. And it's important to dig into that. Why do I feel guilty? Well, is that my responsibility? Avoidance of preferences, prefers others choosing the restaurants, movies, and vacations.
My favorite example of that, and I think the movie came out right about the time I was figuring all this out, was Runaway Bride. Have you guys seen it?
Oh,
Yeah.
No, rom-com, but Julia Roberts, Richard Gere, they did the whole Pretty Woman redemption, had to do another movie together. But there's this scene, and she is highly codependent. It's not the preface of the movie, but she is. I'm just saying, I diagnosed her.
That's right.
But he calls her out, and he says, like, you have been engaged to like 7 men.
Wow.
And I've interviewed them all, and every single one of them, I asked them, how does she like her eggs? And all of them said, oh, same as me.
Oh,
and so
my
he challenged
word.
her. How do you freaking like your own eggs? If you were single and there wasn't somebody there to go,
Oh,
oh, that
there
sounds
you
good,
go.
I'll take the same. How would you order your own eggs? And there's this great scene where she makes about 52 different types of eggs.
Wow.
And she goes through and samples every one, and she figures out, this is what I like, and this is what I'm going to order for myself from now on.
That's a great
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Because discovering who we are takes work. And it takes broken eggs. And it takes, instead of seeing it as failure, we need to replace that word failure with discovery.
Yeah.
Well, I discovered I don't like scrambled eggs. By the way, I like my eggs wrapped in a massive burrito that's like 1,400 calories. Anyway.
1,400.
And it also takes time alone.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I want you to kind of go over some things, steps, I don't know, whatever, like for someone trying to come out of that. Like, what are some things what are the first steps? Once you realize that you have oh, wow, I'm this way. Now what?
So my light bulb's gone on. I'm out of denial. Most likely, the first and primary thing you struggle with is boundaries. And they need to be where you tackle. And so begin to ask yourself the big ones, the obvious ones. Am I never able to say no? Am I always apologizing? Am I taking on too much? Do I feel exhausted all of the time, no matter how much rest I get?
Wow.
And then begin to question, what can I change in this? And remembering, because oftentimes, anytime we do a behavior change, there's this pendulum shift.
Yes.
Right.
Where we go often from one extreme to the other, right? If we're someone who's very passive and we're trying to learn how to be assertive, we're probably going to be aggressive a few times while we figure out what assertion actually feels like, right?
Yeah.
And so even with the boundaries and working yourself through, what do I need to say no to? Or what does that look like to create that for myself? Oftentimes when we swing this pendulum, we mistakenly think that a boundary is something we put on somebody else.
Yes.
That's still,
man.
that is still controlling them.
Yes.
A boundary is something we put on ourselves, in place for ourselves, that says, if this boundary is crossed, this is what I am going to do for myself, right? So my boundary is not, you're not allowed to talk to me that way. I just put a boundary up. Quit talking. My boundary is, when you speak to me disrespectfully, I'm removing myself from this conversation. Very, very different. Right?
I love it.
Yeah.
So being able to really look at boundaries in a healthy way and begin to ask yourself where you can place them to create space. Going back to those Maslow hierarchy of needs. Where am I missing my own physiological needs? How am I not taking care of myself? So this is I know we hear it all the time now, self-care this and self-care that, and it's not shameless. It's all true. And culturally, what most people think is self-care is actually self-indulgence.
Yes.
Yes.
Self-care is proactive.
Yes.
Right? So how am I taking care of my physiological needs, my safety needs? How am I creating a sense of love and belonging internally for myself, because it's a broken relationship with self first?
Yes.
Not how am I getting love and belonging from other people? And there's a lot of tips and tricks for that. How are we doing on time?
We are landing the plane,
Yeah.
but I love even what you said about being by yourself. If someone cannot handle being by themselves, there's a couple things happen when we're by ourselves. Oftentimes, is internal stuff comes up, and it needs to come up, so that we can start to work through it. And I equate it to getting into the hot tub, where you stick your foot in that hot tub and it's like, hey. But you know that if you stick with it, it's going to feel great. And that is the same stuff with the feelings and the stuff that comes up inside of us. So spending time with yourself, and in so doing, don't plan for everybody else. Don't plan how you're going to take care of, and even if the guilt feelings come up, sit with those, examine those, ask why. Have that communication with yourself,
and journal if you can while you're doing it.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
there's incredible healing and brain power in just writing it and getting it out.
Oh, yes.
And in that time alone, I mean, literally, you date yourself. You've spent all
Isn't
this
that
time
something?
into other.
Yeah.
You've spent all this time
Yeah.
into other relationships, right? You date yourself. You get to know yourself. And so often in our codependency, we're so busy all of the time that our brains never stop,
No.
because we're anticipating everything.
Sure.
When we begin to spend time alone, we create space and silence for our brains to finally slow down.
Absolutely.
And finally, not only connect with ourselves, but start allowing the things to come up that we've been avoiding or keeping
100%,
busy for
yes.
too long, to not address or to not think about or to not feel.
It's trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Such great tools and the experience you've been through is so valuable. I'm sure to so many people out there. Thank you for giving a voice to this. And being codependent is not a bad word. It's just something to identify so that we can, because if we never accept it, then we never get to work on it. Yeah. And it's always elusive. So being able to name it and also sit in that space, those spaces next to each other of, God has made me to do incredible things and given me great talents and abilities. Yet I also need a savior, man. So I am screwed up in ways that he needs to work in me. Yeah. Those are both true of all of us.
100%.
So.
And you had mentioned at the start of the episode, PFE?
PRE. Personal, relational, external.
I love that you mentioned that because really the connection with self for me is the core piece of healing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I offer is this rollout of creating unhurried moments for yourself.
Oh.
And it's truly based on
Love
Mary
it.
and Martha, right?
Creating
unhurried moments, unhurried mornings, and unhurried days. And those are different experiences that I offer to help people connect. But the unhurried day aligns so closely with what you mentioned because I break it up into thirds. And the first part of the day is 100% grounding and connection with self because we have to start there.
Yeah.
And then the middle of the day is connection with nature and higher power. And then the end of the day is connection with community. Because when we pour into self and God first, we have the ability to pour into others.
Sure.
And connection with others is incredibly important. Just not when you're doing it in a codependent way.
Totally. Thank you so much, Megan.
Yes, thanks for sharing your story. It was awesome.
And what's your website?
CodependentCounselor.com.
That's so easy. Codependent Counselor.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Also on Instagram.
Also on Instagram. That's right. Like and subscribe or whatever you need to do. 100%.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you for joining us today. If you've gotten anything from this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend.
And be sure to join us next time for our next question.